Hey, all right, sync. Perfect. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Andrew and Chris cast.
Show. The Andrew and Chris show.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Today we are joined by our very special guest. What's your name, special guest?
I'm Brandon Cohen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here with us today, Brandon. We appreciate it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
of
gonna
course.
be a good time. Got some important stuff to discuss. Very important.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, I guess the best way to start off is just by talking about how we know each other in the first place.
That's a good point.
So we all go to Berklee. Brandon, you've been here a little bit longer than we have.
Yeah, I am on my 4th semester on campus, but I technically am a 5th semester because I had some transfer credits.
Wow.
So,
Right. And was that from back in Cali, or was that
yeah,
somewhere?
it was from back in
Like high school
equivalent
stuff. Okay, nice.
Exactly, yeah, and I was just doing like some college level stuff. Got a lot of this stuff out of the way, and I'm trying to still figure out if I can get some other stuff out of the way because I don't want to have to take like statistics or
Right.
that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll we will see if I am able to get out of that. But for the time being, I am taking a whole bunch of classes.
What you got? What you got on your plate?
I'm in like 10 classes right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You're in 10?
Oh.
Yeah, including Tower of Power. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm in like history of country music. I'm in tonal harmony, which
Is that hard?
it's not fun.
I've just heard that's kind of like the point you get, and you're just like, God, this is just so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Shit.
it's a lot, like, and I don't understand why it's a required course for business majors at Berklee
You're a
College.
business major?
Yeah, I'm a music business major.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So, like, I'm like, dude, why do I have to know tonal harmony? Like, I have to take 1 and 2. Like that's.
Jeez. So you're on
it's a
1
big
now,
load.
or are you on 2 now?
I'm on 1 now, so I still have to take tonal harmony 2, and I also have to take conducting 2, which doesn't make any sense because, like,
You're gonna
like,
conduct at the business office?
yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? I mean.
What the hell?
Like it's just a lot of required courses for a lot of stuff. It is what it is because Berklee, needs to make money. So they need to charge us for courses that we don't need to really take.
Because if they gave us only courses that we wanted to take, like...
Yeah, I mean, and it's impossible to please everybody. And honestly, some people are looking for the stuff that we require. So there's some people who sit in that tonal harmony class and absorb every single word.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the rest of us who are like, oh my god, I have this class at 11 a.m. Like, oh my god, like it's just like the teacher just talks for like 2 hours and writes on the whiteboard, and it's really like it's a lot of it's tonal harmony. So it's
A lot of material.
Yeah, like we start off with like sub 5s, and then we just like go on to like figure bass and just get more and more complicated from there.
Sure. Have you guys read 20th Century Harmony by Vincent Persichetti?
No.
No? I picked up that book a while back because my teacher recommended it, and like it's a little dense and a little dry at some points, but it's super interesting. It's all about music from the first part of the 20th century, so like from essentially 1900 to the 1960s. But it's pretty cool. So yeah, what books did you guys read, or have you been reading in tonal harmony?
I mean, I don't even think that she assigned us a book for tonal harmony, which is
A lot of teachers don't.
yeah. I mean, like it's more of one of those like big like thick textbooks, and she has like screenshots of them online, which is good.
Yeah.
Because those things are like they're $120 to get them
Right.
or something. 110 years.
Yeah,
Like
nuts.
Berklee really does not do leniency. And the thing that really sucks is that you bring them back right at the end of the year. They're like, "Oh, we can buy your books back," right? So I brought my books back, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can give you like $3."
$2, yeah.
I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's just insulting. Like,
Yeah,
why are you even taking
Yeah,
it
no,
back?
exactly. I'm like I paid $115 for this book when I bought it. Like, and you're gonna give me $3 for it? So like the alternatives, you buy it, like you sell it to another student, who needs it, to
Anyway,
take that class. But and like you just you gotta like you're gonna lose some money on it either way. You gotta be like, oh yeah, this is like $100, something like that. It's used. So, or you keep the book, and you
Never use it again.
never use it again. Yeah, you look at it, in a stack of books, every so often, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, that's there, you know, and then you pick out the book above it, you know, that's better, it's more relevant to
Yeah.
your situation, you know.
22nd century army.
Like just anything more relevant to your situation than harmony, right? Because at that point in your life, most likely, you're not going to be really worrying about, oh, you know, how do I do a sub 5, you know, tonic subdominant bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know, at that point, you know, ideally, you know, in our life, you know, we're going to be like maybe on tour somewhere, or, you know, working out of an office in LA, or, you know, like there's
Sure.
all sorts of possibilities, you know, but that is, I think, you know, I don't think it's limited by having to take these courses, but I do think that the courses are, you know, like, I wouldn't say they're, like, necessary to my overall life experience.
But they're not unnecessary
They're
at the
not.
same time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so the counter argument there is that, you know, courses like that teach you how to learn. Right?
Or they teach you discipline.
Exactly,
like,
right? Yeah.
You're going to spend all this money to go to this required course to spend time at this university that's basically teaching you what you have wanted.
Exactly.
And, like...
So it's like the one thing that you have to give,
Yeah.
you know? And, like, yeah, it's whatever, you know? Like I feel like ultimately, you know, we're going to bitch about it until the end of time.
Right,
you
but
know?
at the end of the
And-
day, it's important to...
Exactly, you know, that's I mean, but that's how it is with most things in life, you know, like driving tests, you know,
Right,
like
okay.
those things are a pain in the ass. But
Do you
gotta
take
get
driver's
through
ed?
it. Dude, I actually still have not gotten my driver's license.
Really?
Yeah, I am 21 years old. I'll be 22 this summer. And yeah, I mean, I'm from Santa Monica. My parents both have cars, and they both, you know, local. My dad usually works at home.
Yeah, it sucks to drive in California, though.
It does really suck. You know, the traffic is a pain in the ass. So usually they give me a ride if it's like somewhere reasonable, you know.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a long distance ride that like I have to do like a doctor's ride or something, like my
Mhm.
parents will obviously take me, you know. But usually, you know, like I also take like a lot of like I do a lot of walking, and I also in Santa Monica they have the electric scooters, the bird scooters.
No way, really?
Yeah, no, and they're really cheap. You know, it's like something like 15 cents a minute after like it's like I think $1 initially for like 5 minutes, and then after that it's like 15 cents a minute or something like that. So like you and like they go up to 15 miles an hour. You know, the 15 is like their magic number. You know?
Right.
And it's pretty great, you know. They get you from place to place. I've gotten across town on those things. You know, I go record shopping on those things. You know, go from
Right.
my house to the record store. It's like 25 minutes.
Do you just have like a really big backpack or like a duffel bag to carry those, or you just hold them?
Honestly, it depends on the day. Like
Because you can't really get bags in California. Like,
Yeah, like-
it's
like-
crazy money for a bag.
yeah, I mean, like big bags that like would fit on my back and would also be able to hold the records. You know, I don't know. I occasionally like I have this one record bag that's like nice, you know, but it's like about this thick, you know. Like
geez.
for those of you who can't see, you know, I'm holding my fingers about 2 inches wide, you know, and
What do you mean? I know what 2 inches looks like. That was
yeah. You know, like and that's about the maximum that they can stretch open, you know.
So not a lot of records.
So yeah, you can maybe fit like 15 records in there maximum, which is, you know, it's not horrible, you know. But if I'm going record shopping and I really want to like splurge, you know, like I'll bring that, and then I'll usually end up with another like little plastic bag or something that has a couple records in it, you know, and I'll kind of hang that over one of the sides of the scooter, you know, and just like, you know, it has like a motorcycle type engine, so you know, kind of rev it with your right hand, and you can get it up to 15
You
miles
race
an hour.
with the scooters?
I have never personally raced with the scooters, and if the cops see you, honestly, dude, you can get fat tickets for that.
Really?
It is ridiculous. One of my friends got a $250 fine
Ooh.
on the beach because he had another person on the back. Like, you're not supposed to have two people. Like, these things literally they look like racer scooters, you know, but they're like electric,
Right.
you know, and they're good. You know, they hold charge for like probably like 2 hours or something like that. So
Oh, wow.
like, you know, if you get like a fully charged one, you can go for a while, but you know, like if you're going like full 15 miles an hour, it'll drain the battery pretty quick.
Sure.
You know, like it's good to kind of like let the hills like, you know,
Right.
like drive you a little bit, you know, pick up momentum. Like it tells you the speed that you're going on it, you know, and like on hills and stuff, I've gotten into like 18, 19 miles an hour, even though it's not
That's it.
supposed to, like,
Right.
you know, like, and that's way dangerous. You know, it's like you're not supposed to be doing that, like going that fast on like a little thing like that. You know?
Right, because like if one little speed wobble could just
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's the same thing with skateboarding.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
you're taking that risk every single time that you hop on a skateboard.
right. Like
Yeah.
Chris and I, when we were younger, we did a lot of longboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So-
if you're not like careful, you can really fuck up.
Right, like if your trucks are just loose and you're not really thinking about it and you're just going down a hill, man, you better be really fucking good with hills or you're
Yeah,
just fucking
or you're
gone.
fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, like no one wore helmets.
No, of course.
Like
yeah.
why would you ever do that on a device that can go 15 miles an hour, which seems slow,
That's
but
what I'm
it's,
saying. So the cops started saying like you have to start wearing a helmet, and for a while they were pulling people over and they were saying, oh yeah, I've got to wear a helmet. You know, this is a warning or whatever. And like I think a few people got tickets because the cops in Santa Monica like they just need to fill out quotas, you know, and it kind of sucks, you know.
Yeah.
But like and it's just like Los Angeles in general. It's not Santa Monica specifically, but
right,
you know.
right.
Like the cops all need to like have a certain amount of like tickets given out, so you'll see a lot of bullshit tickets, you know.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
that's
like
a sad reality too,
exactly.
man.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, yeah, as I said, you know, one of my friends, $250 on one of those things at the beach. You know, he's just riding around with his friend on the back, and the cop, you know, pulls him over. Seriously,
Can you imagine this like in an episode of Cops?
that was ridiculous. No, I mean, like,
like,
dude, like we're talking about cops arresting people in Venice Beach, which is like
Right. Out of the numerous
the-
things to get arrested for.
No, exactly. No, and the funniest thing is, I've had like another group of my friends, two of my friends from back home. They also got arrested, or like not like arrested, but like, you know, they got a ride home in the police car because
no.
they were smoking in a back alleyway in Venice Beach, right? And it's like,
Jeez.
dude, it's Venice Beach. Come on, like this is where Jim Morrison this is like his playground, you know. Like this whole place is stoner heaven. You walk back and forth. You see all these like, you know, med shops, places you walk in, pay $45, and you get your medical card. You know, and you're able to go to any dispensary. And there's some dispensaries on this block. You know, you walk down, there's like 5-6 dispensaries. You know,
Right.
all these places selling all different kinds of glass. You know, pipes, like you know, beautiful like handmade stuff, and they'll totally overcharge you for it.
Oh, 100%,
Like,
yeah.
charge you like $50 for a pipe that's like, you know, the size of my thumb. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, come on, you know, you know, like honestly, unbranded, unlabeled glass is the best, and you know, and usually the cheapest stuff. You know, like the piece of glass that I got back home is like 18 inches tall.
Sure.
You know, wait, I think that's incorrect. I don't know.
Well, yeah, like for
I'm trying to imagine it, right? Like
That's about
it's like
18.
this, 18
Yeah, sure.
inches, right?
some
Yeah.
maybe a little more actually.
I don't know. I mean, so like like 12 inches is like this, right? It's like a foot.
Yeah.
Right. So
Somewhere in
yeah. Let's say 18 inches, right? You know,
Sure, sure.
and it's got 9mm thick glass, so really thick. You know, really nice, sturdy thing. You know, so I got spoiled back home with that thing. You know.
Yeah,
Right.
naturally.
But yeah, no, like for example, like this piece that I have in my hand here. So this is one of like the kind of rubbery ones or whatever,
Yeah.
with like just a glass piece that goes into
Sure.
the
Yeah,
rubber.
you can clean it easily.
Yeah, super easy to clean. But like, I got this in Oregon for like $7 or $8. Also, quick side note: sorry for any of like the crinkling noises if there are any. We'll try and EQ it out later. But if it's,
Andrew, he's eating these fucking candies. Bro.
I know, God, if only I wasn't fucking Chris just munching down on these fucking airheads.
They're so fucking good, bro.
But
Shout out to Airheads, the soft-filled bites ones. You're
Fuck,
a real
man.
MVP.
you know, contribute. But I have this little fucking piece that's like $7 or $8, and if you would have
Yeah,
bought
dirt-
that
dirt
on
cheap.
Venice Beach, it'd probably be like 18.
Yeah. No. I mean, honestly, they could charge you up to $30 for it if they throw a label on it.
Right? They're just like, oh, it's Khalifa brand. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like you know,
it's
and
Gucci.
this tiny little metal piece, you know. And the thing will like heat up really fast, so you know it'll fucking burn you anyway. It's like it's not worth it, but you know they'll charge you $20 for it, you know. And like
It's like you might as well just buy a fucking apple.
yeah, no, I mean like the piece that I got back home, the super tall one, you know, I got that probably I think $80, you know, at the smoke shop near me, and like that's actually how much I paid for the one that I have here, which is, you know, very small, but you know, of equal value for what it is, you know, for
Right.
you know, smaller bong.
So, side question. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Did you put this in your luggage, or did you have it sent back?
No, actually, I bought that one in Connecticut, which is why it was as expensive as it
Oh.
was. You know, like if I
Is
got
weed
that in
legal there?
California,
But glass is
Ooh.
legal. You can't.
Glass is legal anywhere, man.
Yeah,
like
man.
it's for tobacco use only.
Right, because that's how they can market it, and
Exactly.
shops aren't gonna question that.
No, it was cool. Like in Connecticut, they had this like super heady like Grateful Dead shop called Sunshine Daydream, and they like sell all these like tapestries, and Dead posters and Dead merch, like Dead everything, bears and this and that. And then of course they have like the glass like smoke section, like that has all the pieces, the pipes and So yeah, I went there and they had this really nice one. I was like, yeah,
And you're like,
yeah, and I think originally it was $100. I was like, is that really the best you can do?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, no, I'll give you $80. Yeah, sure, fuck it.
Jeez.
Because I'm not, I'm not trying to like really bargain it down. That particular place, it was really cool, and I was also buying a couple. I think I got a really cool hat there as well.
Nice.
Like a really like just super heady like denim hat with an Allman Brothers logo on the front.
Nice.
Like,
So okay,
so
I've been to like a smoke shop or two.
yeah.
I bought some glass in Washington, and it was my first time ever buying glass, and the dude's like going through each like bong with me, and like he would tell me the initial price, and then immediately after he'd be like, "But I could probably do like something for that."
Really?
Like, I'm like, why are you even telling me the first price, man? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? They
Exactly,
always do
yeah.
that. It seems like.
No, it's sort of like a tactic to make you think that they're
Giving you
like,
a deal.
giving you like a discount,
They're fucking not.
But yeah, no, they're not, right? They're scamming you into thinking that they're giving you a discount, and then you go, okay, well, dude, like when I was like, for those of you listening who didn't know, I lived in Beijing, China for 4 years from the time that I was, in 6th grade to the time that I was in 9th grade.
Sure.
And when I was over there, in the markets, like there's no such thing as a set price, especially if you're white. You walk in there, and they'll give you a price, and usually it's super high, and if you speak Chinese, it freaks them out, like they don't expect it, so we usually would like have a little bit of fun with it because they'll be very aggressive with it. They'll like pull you into their stand so that you don't go into another stand. They're like, oh no, check this out. They want something. Let's say you're getting a T-shirt or something, and it's something that like really it's dirt cheap, they paid nothing for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, oh yeah, I'll give it to you for like like in English, they'll try their best in English, to be like, oh good price, they'll do like 30 yuan, which is the equivalent of like I don't even know, God, it's probably like $4 or something like that, $5,
okay.
And and then I'll we argue it down, like 15, because that's they paid nothing for that, it's a bad
American accent.
exactly no it's a bad example of like something that you might want. Like they have all sorts of like fake watches and fake iPhones, and like they're pretty good, they're knockoff. Like I got like a fake Game Boy or something that worked pretty well. They used it for a while, and it's cool. Like it was cracked, so it had like all these games programmed into it already. Yeah, like you didn't have to put any game cartridge in it. Like it had 150 games or something.
Oh my God.
Like cycle through, and they like some of them were really shitty, but some of them were really cool. Like some of the original like Super Mario Bros. And stuff. Like,
Really?
It was fun. So I
Were
played
there any
through a couple
Pokemon
of
ones
those.
on there?
There was no Pokemon on that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but,
Nintendo was pretty harsh with Pokemon. Like,
so I respect the fuck out of that though, because I think that Pokemon is one of, I mean, honestly, they like at this point they've kind of bastardized it, with like just because it's existed so long, and they just need to keep doing new stuff, So they've kind of like taken the original concept and run with it maybe a little bit too far, like maybe it should just stopped, but. I'm honestly still with it. Like I'm still gonna buy the new games. Like because they're fun. Like
what about the
same
whole
premise?
Did you hear about the Nintendo like YouTube video thing where they take like all monetization funds from YouTubers if they have like a Nintendo game that they're playing for their video. If it's over like 45 seconds or something really low.
Oh, so Nintendo takes all the profit?
They take all the profit, just a random rule they have. If you're playing like Mario or anything for your channel.
yeah,
well, that's interesting.
it's crazy. Like, because
they're very money whore.
There's such a in quotes family-friendly game company, which
but they make like the best fucking games, though. They really do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But no, like it's insane because they're such a in quotes family company, but
quote family. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like. Man, the amount of people they fuck over with the prices. Like, can you imagine how much more accessible Nintendo games would be if they dropped the price of the console by, like, even $50.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's in the $300,
Dude,
like $200
Still,
plus
like,
range.
No, I mean,
Switch
like-
is still like 300.
Every time they release a new Nintendo game, right? You know, it's like it'd be like $60 bucks, $65.
Yeah.
You know, and that is ridiculous. You know, there's no way I'm paying that for like a new Pokemon game, right?
No, it's
you know,
nuts.
so you wait like 3 months and they drop it to 40 and they drop it to 35 and then you can find it used for like, you know, 20, $15. You know, and that's when I buy it. You know, but that,
Almost always.
by
confused stuff.
that point, you know, it's like, you know, the hype has died down. Everybody's already played it. You know,
Mhm.
and like I'll still play it. I'm still excited about it. You know, because it's still like the same. You know, I mean, like Pokemon. You know, is a very finite concept. You know,
Mhm.
like you start with your original guy. You know, you walk around. You know, find other guys. You know,
Right,
make them stronger. You know, get rid of some of them, get some new ones.
There's story along
find a
the
cool
way,
team.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. Some story with Team Rocket. You know, or Team
Yeah,
Tiger,
sure, yeah.
you know.
Some
The
like
same
fucking
teams.
opposing force.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's several opposing forces along the way. You got like, you know, like the rival, and then like the girl that like helps you, or you know, maybe doesn't help you in some of the things. You know.
Right, or like battles you on occasion. Then you have
Exactly.
like whatever the bad guy team is, and if it's like the 3rd gen
Yeah.
area, it's like
Word.
2 different bad guy teams that are fighting each other while also fighting you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
Honestly, something that out of the Pokemon games that I think is really cool is 4th gen, so like Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. That's really loud. When
Sorry.
you put stuff right there, it's just
It's ASMR.
yeah. But no,
Yum, yum.
like the way that like 4th gen did it, and even 3rd gen did it. Those were like the ones that did it right, I think, in my mind, because 3rd gen made it cool where there was 2 different gangs, and you were like, oh, this is such a cool concept.
Mhm.
But like Diamond and Pearl, what made it really cool is that they had the main villains who all had fucking Berklee or whatever the fucking Glameow or whatever kitty, and then
Yeah, no, I mean, like, exactly.
bad.
They would always have like the easy to find Pokemon, you know.
And then they had the bosses
but like
above
the
them, and
quote
the
quote
bosses above
evil
them.
looking ones, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to like what, like coughing and wheezing and Ekans and Arbok.
Shit like that, yeah.
You know.
Dude, yeah.
Do you know
Jesse
Ekans
and James.
spells snake backwards?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, now I remember that.
You know what Muck
Yeah.
spells backwards? I got Chris with that one.
Oh, that got me good, bro.
Yeah. Okay, no, honestly, I think, you know, at the end of the day, even though Nintendo's kind of shitty sometimes, but I think it's cool how they've inspired so many people through, like, the video games that they've come out with. Like, Brandon, you and I were talking earlier about how, like, Pokemon was
I mean, so
a fairly big part of our childhood.
It was funny. Like recently, one of my friends posted on Facebook. You know, he said like, "Hey, like this will tell me a lot about you. Post the 5 video games that you would say describe you." Right?
Okay, Pokemon must have been on there.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, like I said, I can't remember like exactly what I said. I said Pokemon Fire Red.
Yeah.
Because that was the first one that I ever played. It was a great game. Really fun. Then I said Guitar Hero 3.
Oh
because-
shit! Legends of Rock.
Yeah, Legends of Rock was... Yeah, I will gladly take that. Yeah. Yeah, no, Legends of Rock was... I mean, it was like the playlist on that particular game...
Perfect.
was perfect. It was, it was great. Every single song was amazing. It was the most fun to play through all the way. Like the featured people, you had like Tom Morello and Slash.
Right.
Like,
and
that
you
was
do
cool
the
as
battles
hell.
against them.
Yeah, and then you battle the devil at the end.
Yep,
Like, it
yep.
was,
Oh my
it was a
God.
super fun game. You know,
And
the playthrough, and then the songs were all fantastic.
right.
You know, and like honestly, in 5th grade, listening to some of those songs got me into a lot of those bands really early.
Definitely.
You know.
Rock or
It's the
Just
first
rock
time I heard
band.
Muse, you know, Knights of Sidonia. That was like the first time I
Dude,
ever
fucking
heard that
Knights of
band.
Sidonia
It's a
is
great
such a great
song.
song. At Oregon State, I played that in the marching band.
Awesome, dude. Very cool.
Yeah. No, but like Rock Band and Guitar Hero are just like a really good musical like bridge for
Yes.
kids. Not just for guitar though. Like there's a lot of. I mean, I know I just wanted to be in band like in 6th grade when I saw, Guitar Hero. I'm like, wow,
Exactly,
music
yeah.
is fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not a guitar player. You know?
Right. Yeah, Guitar Hero 3 especially, because of those songs, I think, I'm imagining this, that was like when they first started doing really big things with like arcades and incorporating Guitar Hero. And I think like almost every Guitar Hero machine I've been to at an arcade, like it's
And it's Guitar Hero 3, yeah.
it's Guitar Hero 3 every time, and like it's
This is the best one, yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows it.
Right,
Yeah.
it's like Mortal Kombat or like Street Fighter. Like those are the games that like, oh, I know that game.
Yeah, yeah.
Been at an arcade.
Naturally,
Yeah, no, exactly. They're classic games. You know, they're really really good stuff. You know.
What other games would you say is part of your childhood? So you said Guitar Hero.
Yeah, so I got those
and
two.
Pokemon. What else would you say is in that?
Pokemon, Guitar Hero. I had League
you
of
mind clearing this
Legends.
Would you mind clearing that?
I got you. Yeah. So can I use the? Yeah. So.
Sorry, we're clearing out our piece.
Yeah.
Yo, Hey, by the way, shout out weed.
Yeah. Shout out marijuana for being a inspiration source.
every day of the week.
Yeah. There you go, sir.
But anyways, continue. Yeah.
Yeah, what other games did you have?
Yeah, so I said League of Legends because I started playing that when I was in like 6th grade, like halfway through 6th grade. One of my friends was like, "Yo, do you play this?" And I was horrible at it, and it frustrated me because I was, really bad at it. I'm like, "Dude, I got to get better at this." So I started playing it a lot. Right? There was like a whole like lore behind it, so I got into the
There's
lore.
a lot.
Oh, it's intense.
Oh.
And so I got into like professional like esports. I like started enjoying that, And in 10th grade, it was just like I was just spending too much time on it, and like I was trying to like focus on music as much as I could.
Right.
But it's so hard when video games are games.
I mean, like, and that particular game, like I was obsessed with it. Like it was bad. I was spending like 9-10 hours a day on it.
Man, immediately after school till you get
Yeah,
back.
no, exactly. Like I would go back home. Like ignore my homework responsibilities, whatever. And just play video games.
Yeah.
And yes, it was fun, but and also it's a quote free game. And it is free.
Yeah.
Like you can play it for free, but the issue is that if you want to actually play people or like unlock people. I mean, at least when I was playing it, you had to put some money into it.
Or if you wanted like a certain skin, you had to kind of go with it.
Exactly, yeah. And like I got all about the skins.
And
oh man,
the crazy thing about shit like that,
so
those
much
free to play games like fucking CS:GO or League of Legends, like at least in our day, I don't know what it would be as much now, maybe Fortnite, but like the whole gambling portion of it is so terrible.
Dude, I mean, like, the reason that I quit more than anything was the fact that, honestly, it was probably the biggest source of stress and anger in my life.
oh definitely.
And I realized that, in 10th grade because I was like, holy shit, I'm getting so mad at this game when I'm losing. Like, I would get, like, furious at these teams.
Really?
Because I'm playing ranked games, I'm trying to move up, and, like, I was really all about it. I had friends... Like, I still do. I have a friend who got, actually, a scholarship to MIT because he's, like, literally he's challenger in League of Legends. He's one of the best in the world, yeah. He got a scholarship to MIT. He's on their League of Legends team. He's, like, I mean, like, that's not the only reason. He's awesome. He's a genius. He's from Vietnam and this and that. But, like, he's also, like, challenger in League of Legends. He spends a lot of time on that. It's a big part of his personality. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
So-
I know somebody who got a scholarship for gaming as well. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I think it's Ethan, but I went to
What was the
camp.
game?
So it's for Overwatch.
Oh, also very competitive.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a fun game.
that's actually the one of the very, very, very few games that I got into competitively, just a little bit, like dabbled almost, because it was that in CS:GO. But yeah, no, he's his friend that I went to camp with,
I played,
and
Team Fortress 2 for a while.
dude, TF2 was the
yeah.
shit. I never got into
Shit,
anything
man.
That was a
competitive.
great
So
game.
fun though. But yeah, he got a scholarship for gaming as well with Overwatch, and I thought it was really cool. But yeah, TF2, bro.
Dude, I honestly forgot about that game until we were talking about Overwatch, and then I was like, bing,
Yep.
TF2.
Yup.
That game was amazing. And
It
also Minecraft. I honestly can't,
Super long-lasting games.
Can't ignore the influence of Minecraft for me personally. I played that game for like a solid like 7 years.
Right,
Like,
no,
and honestly,
totally.
I still play it occasionally. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
just
have
open it for
confession.
fun, you know.
Bro,
I have
honestly-
a confession to make.
Dude,
I might have played
Minecraft-
it last week.
Minecraft is dude, it's one of the most smartly designed games of all time in terms of the creativity. You know, like you can build something from nothing in any way. You know, you can choose to like pursue any particular path that you want to do. The world is literally endless. It creates itself for you.
Mhm.
You know, like the terrain. You just keep going. It just keeps creating itself.
Mhm.
You know, and it's really amazing. But you know, it's like I don't know. I think there was another game that they were trying to make that was like something similar. It was like
Terraria.
no, it was something about like outer space, like Big Sky or something.
No Man's Sky.
No, that's the one. No Man's
Yes,
Sky.
yeah.
Dude, the fucking failure of a
Dude,
game.
and apparently it totally sucked. I never played it, but like the concept was brilliant. Like you know, you literally have your own planet. You can do whatever you want,
Right.
and then like over time, you know, like you might find somebody, but you might not because the universe is so big.
So giant.
Like
yeah.
there are other people there the entire time, but like you just never know it because they're so far away.
And
you know?
everybody has different amounts of resources.
Exactly. You know, I thought it was a really smart,
Beautiful
concept.
Beautiful
But
concept.
I-
Poorly executed.
I was really bummed at how much they execute. You know, so I saw this thing that actually I thought really was very potent. You know, as a statement. You know, I don't even know how to.
Uh oh.
Ah,
Shot time.
that's the shot time.
Shot time.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the
We'll
least.
talk about the potent statement in a minute.
Yeah, potent statement in a
The
second.
guest always gets the nice little Boston glass.
Oh goodness me.
Yeah, we're doing the worst part of our podcast.
Andrew's
arguably.
favorite part, baby.
Fuck me.
Andrew never turns down a shot.
I hate it though. But I also never do a chaser because that's for pussies.
Or
Alright
gummy worm.
then.
Does a gummy worm count as a chaser?
No, I will say for my first shot ever though, I did have a chaser. It was orange juice.
How's your dick inverted too?
The day that I turned 15, I had probably 15 shots worth equivalent of gin.
For your,
Jeez.
Is that
what?
your
What
bar
is
mitzvah?
California like? You.
is that what age you are for your bar mitzvah, or is it earlier?
Wait, what? How old did I say?
You said 15.
15.
Sorry. Let's try that again. The day that I turned 21,
Oh.
I had 15 shots equivalent of gin.
Holy fuck, dude! As soon as you turned 21.
The day that I turned 21, yeah. And I
So
like.
you're 15.
No, I was not 15.
Also, guys, let's cheers real quick.
Yeah,
Oh,
cheers.
Okay, come on.
To
Woo.
TOP and
Yeah.
Puking in
life.
the bush.
And,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
George Bush.
George Bush. Let's puke in George Bush.
Puke in George Bush.
Woo.
Hashtag puke in George Bush.
That's the spirit.
Yo, while we're at it, shout out Dick Cheney, dude. Invented the Bush interrogation fucking tactic.
Yeah.
Fucked up, crazy man.
No, definitely.
Crazy people.
What were we talking about before?
We're talking about the No, we're talking about the hunting games that
No, but
Duck Dynasty brought out.
we were talking about a potent statement that I was going to say, which
Yes,
was
potent
that,
statement.
Oh, right.
which is that instead of Hollywood, you know, making all of these remakes of movies that we already like, you know, like Mulan,
And then sometimes ruining them.
sometimes ruining them, you know, and it's a shame when they do it, you know, adaptations of like, you know, like all sorts of things that just fail.
Yeah, just miserably.
What they should do is they should look back at the things that they already did that failed miserably and redo them well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
actually see what they did wrong instead
Exactly.
of just
So like, do you remember Aragon?
yes.
Yes, the movie
That
they made of it was a bummer.
It was
you know?
shit.
And like they definitely could have done better for it. You know, and that could have been a whole series, but because the first one sucked, it was horrible. Percy Jackson, dude.
Oh
Dude.
my god, if they redid Percy Jackson.
Oh
Those
my God,
movies
that
were
was-
they
The movies
didn't
were
even
horrible.
care.
They were horrible.
But they got Pierce Brosnan in.
No, exactly, and like the crazy thing is that the entire like plot of that book was so perfectly laid out to be a movie.
Yes.
Like
Every single way.
It was so easy, you know. Like they could have done it like word for word to the book, you know, and had everything happen, you know. Like and obviously they would have to condense some of it, you know, like skip
totally,
skip
yeah,
some of the
no.
stuff. But dude, they literally left out like 3/4 of the important characters.
Right.
Like
You know?
they spent like probably like 70 years just in the fucking Lotus Hotel.
Yeah.
Which they didn't even do well.
What
Like
a
they just
shame.
fucking popularized the Lady Gaga song and then just fucking wasted our time. And-
Exactly. No, it was a shame when it happened.
And it was crazy how old they made the fucking main characters. Cause like in
Exactly.
the books,
Yeah, they're like 15. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
super duper young, but
Yeah.
you can
15, yeah.
easily tell that all these people are well
Logan
beyond-
Lerman's like 25.
Yeah.
He's like,
Right.
I am Percy
Hey,
Jackson.
Like Jesus, dude.
And like the other problem is, like, say they did redo Percy Jackson nowadays, like most of the hype is already gone. Like that book was big, like 2011, 2012.
Sure.
But like, you know, now that one, he's done so many books that it just doesn't like make a difference.
There's still nostalgia behind it, but the thing is,
Right.
I don't
That's
think
what I'm saying.
that alone would kind of help.
But
I don't
dude,
think.
I
that
mean,
alone would help.
they made Harry Potter. Like she wrote a musical, The Cursed Child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
The
I mean,
Cursed
it's not a
Child.
musical. It's like a play or something, and it's been on Broadway or off Broadway, like touring all over the place. You know.
Really, jeez.
Yeah, still making tons of money from it. And that's just
The
from the
book
Harry.
was really good.
No, it was great, but you know, it's from like the Harry Potter premise. You know, they also have like, you know, the whole like Harry Potter world and everything. You know,
Yeah.
like dude, they could totally do that with the Percy Jackson series. You know,
Easily,
like
but they fucked it
make
up
the whole
so
Camp
bad.
Half Blood and everything. You know,
Yeah.
at like Universal Studios, if Universal bought, you know,
No, everyone
like
would buy it.
it would be great. You know, it would be totally awesome. But they totally blew it.
Yeah, and it really is a shame too, because a lot of that comes down to just carelessness. Like
Exactly.
the CEOs or whoever's in charge of.
They just greenlit it. They're like, yeah, whatever. Let's do our next thing.
Yeah, sure. Like we don't even want to watch it, and some dude just wrote it like overnight because they forgot it was due the next day. Like,
I mean, I think the craziest part was that they literally didn't even stay true to the description of the characters.
not at all.
Like,
Not at all.
Annabeth, who was supposed to have like blonde hair and gray eyes, very, very important part of the story,
Because
is because she's the daughter of Athena.
of Athena. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
And it was a super important part of the story, and they gave her like brown hair and brown eyes. And they tried to fix it when they did the second movie, but the second movie they tried to combine the plots of the second and third books, and it was
Which
just, it was
those are
just a
so
nightmare.
polar opposite
Exactly.
books too.
No, it was
Because
a
like going
nightmare.
from
And it was a shame because like the fourth and the fifth ones they were the best ones. Like the Blood of the Olympians was a great book.
no, absolutely, and then
I
the
had that one signed by Rick Riordan.
I
Awesome.
remember buying the fifth book, and that night I stayed up all night just to read it,
Mhm.
and then I was super wrecked for school the next day. But I was genuinely excited about
I
reading.
did the same thing. No, I killed it in like 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was on the couch in my fucking living room
Just
with some
blowing
fucking Ritz
through it,
crackers,
yeah.
just
I was in my bed, you know, like yeah. We also waited in line. I also waited in line for seventh Harry Potter book.
I
Really?
did that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I had to. No, I was super into Harry Potter.
I mean, I remember waiting in the lines for Harry Potter, but my sister and my dad were kind of the ones that were on that Harry Potter
Oh
game.
man, no,
My older
I
sister.
was in the line with my dad. We're like waiting for it because he read it too. You know, he was really excited about it. You know, my dad actually, he's a really cool guy. He consistently gets me hip to things that I would have never known about otherwise.
Yo, shout out Mr. Cohen.
Shout
Yeah.
out Mr. Cohen. Yeah, his name is Brent Cohen.
Brent
Right.
Cohen,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, he's a really cool guy. You know, he was like working in technology for years and years. He's like one of the first guys on the internet. You
That's
know?
awesome.
Like helping with like my dad built the Pope's first website. You know, he built the websites for like 3 U.S. presidents. You know, it's crazy.
Shit,
He's met all
man.
those people. You know, and you know, this isn't not the current Pope. It was like Pope John Paul II.
Sure,
or
sure,
whatever,
right,
you know?
right.
But you know, it's all very cool. He's just like a very nice guy. But especially when we were living in China, when I was in like 6th grade, 7th grade, and that was around the time that the iPhone was starting to become really popular. Right, and the thing that really propelled that, surprisingly, was Angry Birds. You know, there's all sorts of research
Right, the
on
fucking
it.
game.
But like people were freaking out about Angry Birds because you know, like, oh my god, I can play a touchscreen game on my phone. You know, and that game was the perfect, like, just the perfect segue into the iPhone. You know,
And to like that addiction with the game
exactly.
too.
And Apple marketed it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they did just the right thing, and they made the iPhone a mainstay in society. Everybody needs one.
Everyone needs like, some game to play to distract themselves.
No, I mean
more.
literally every single person like that we know probably has an iPhone or an Android in their pocket.
Or a touchscreen.
You know, like some sort of touchscreen device. Exactly. You know, and maybe have like 2 or 3 friends that have flip phones because they're like, oh, I want to be retro. You know?
Right.
And it's like their thing, and like that's fine. You know,
Or they
whatever.
like low key have a touchscreen on the side.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, you know, yeah. Like it's crazy. You know, I would say almost everybody I know. You know, and like to be fair, we do live in a fairly affluent area, so you know you might go to places that still only have flip phones and stuff.
Sure.
But I feel like you know, especially you know, like the fact that iPhone is continuously upgrading. You know, and you can get some of those like used, you know, like older models for dirt cheap.
That
you
aren't
know?
even that old.
Exactly.
Realistic, if they're coming out every year,
5 years old, you know, like unopened in a box, you know, whatever. You know, it's an iPhone 5, iPhone 6 or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, whatever. You know, like, if it costs like $15, you know, at a yard sale.
Right.
Like,
the other thing is, so now you can recycle your old phones and shit too.
Yeah,
you
it's
get
in
money
places,
back
yeah.
from it.
In Oregon, we have a thing called like Eco ATM, and you just go to the mall, and there's a fucking ATM that like gives you money for your phone, cash money.
Cash money.
Cash fucking money. I was so excited to trade some phones in.
Dude, that's not very cash money of you.
It really isn't. Not gonna lie.
Dude, I don't know why. I just like when I smell the smoke off this bong. Yo, shout out bongs. I just like the smell of the smoke reminded me of just camping.
Camping.
This is totally like a hard transition that I want to do, just because it came to mind. This was not on our list of topics, by the way, so I'm going off script, boys. But
He's going off script.
yeah, Chris is going off script too. Probably to go pee.
Chris needs to pee.
Yeah. But how big of a part did camping take in your childhood or your?
To be honest with
Coming
you, not very much.
Okay. Because I know you're from California and you know parts of China.
Yeah.
Hopefully that didn't make too big of a noise. But no, like I'm curious how much camping you did, or if that played an impact.
So I was in Boy Scouts until I moved to China.
Mm.
And it became an inconvenience to be in Boy Scouts when I was in China. I like they did have a troop there, but it was like 45 minutes drive from where I was. You know, and it was just at an inconvenient time as well. Like it was after jazz band, and I was like, yeah, I gotta prioritize jazz band. I was the only trombone player at that school.
At all.
Yeah, and so I was considering not playing trombone anymore, but you know, I got there and they were like, oh, we need you on trombone. You're a trombone player. Oh my god, you know. And just so happened the music teacher is a trombone player too, so I got like basically one-on-one lessons with the guy. Oh my god, for like, like you know, basically one-on-one lessons from the guy for like 4 years, which was great. You know, it made me a lot better than I was. You know, than I could have been. But you know, I couldn't do Boy Scouts anymore, so. Like I don't know, like I'm from Santa Monica, right? And we would drive up to Mammoth Mountain, which is like 3 hours drive, 4 hours drive up. And we had a friend that had like a cabin there. I don't think she has it anymore, but we would go there for like a long weekend or something, 4 days. Sometimes in the winter and sometimes in the summer. When you go in the winter, it's like a ski mountain. Like you can they have all sorts of skiing slopes, and they're super great. You know, like everything from like the easiest like green circle to like the double black diamond,
sure,
you know, like
stuff like that.
You know, and I was a very inexperienced skier, still am, so I was doing the super easy stuff. You know, I'm freaking out. I'm gonna fall off this mountain. You know, and I'm lucky I didn't, but you know, I was able to somehow control it. You know, and it was fun. But you know, and then in the summer, obviously all the snow melts. And it becomes like this beautiful like mountain area, like with green and you know animals. You get like all sorts of deer and sometimes bears and like raccoons and beavers and shit. You know, like it's cool. You know,
Go bees.
It's nice. You know, it's just nice to be like away, and the air is very fresh there. You know, sometimes in LA the air can get a little bit polluted. Although we're lucky because we live like 24 blocks from the beach. You know, where we are in California, you know, which, you know, on the one hand freaks me out, you know, with like a whole like tsunami thing, you know, I'm like, oh, there's a tsunami, but like it's cool because I think on like 6th Street they have this massive hill that goes up, like this huge hill, and we're on like, you know, way deep on that hill, right? So if somehow the tsunami would be able to breach that hill, which it wouldn't be able to, you know, because there's also like a huge bluffs area, you know.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Like it's not gonna happen. It would never happen. You know, I'm thinking like.
But it's still hard to not worry about it. Like,
dude, I mean, like you always think about it. You know, like it's just something like like worst case scenario. You know, you gotta like be preparing for the absolute worst. You know,
Yeah, like I mean,
not
here in
necessarily
Boston,
preparing
we're
for it, but
fucked.
being aware for it. Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. Oh, dude, Boston is a nightmare. Like if like a big wave came, like yeah, exactly. Like the inconvenience with Boston is that it's laid out in a very unstrategic way. You know,
Oh, yeah,
it
totally.
was basically made to confuse confuse armies as they were coming in. You know, like they didn't want them to know where the important buildings were and everything. So Boston is like the architecture of it, like because it's such an old city, it's so confusing.
But
you
it's
know?
so pretty too in
Like
some
it's
spots.
dude, Boston's beautiful.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's so like
It's so
you look
weird.
at New York City and it's like a grid. You know, like you got like 112th and whatever.
Right.
You know, and it just goes all the way up. You know, and then it goes all the way down. You know, it makes so much sense because it's just like okay, well here's the streets. You know, you can navigate it like that. You know, with the subway system and everything. You know, Boston, it's just it's a nightmare. You know, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's fine. It is what it is. You know, we make it work. But,
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy
Boston's
stuff.
fun though. I really like living in Boston.
Yeah.
Um,
It has its perks.
I've never lived in a colder place before. Like, we're from Oregon, and sure, it rains a shit ton there, but like, Boston is just straight fucking cold, man. I mean, what was it?
And the wind pierces you, dude.
Yeah.
The wind.
The
man,
wind-
that's the part.
The
that's,
wind has moved my saxophone before. Like, it's nuts.
It goes straight through you.
Yeah.
Man, and
100%.
that's the worst thing. Like in Oregon, it can get cold, man, and like sometimes if you're really lucky, it'll snow. But
Yeah, you're real fucking lucky.
but like over here, man, it's just that wind hits you and you just want to fucking die right there.
No, it's bad.
Especially if you're experiencing it for the first time.
It's
Whoa.
you know. So, like again, China. There was one time I was outside in like 6th grade. I was waiting for. I think it was like my ex-girlfriend's dad to pick me up. And this is like a 6th grade girlfriend, right? So it's not something that really matters, But it's like, oh, she's my quote unquote girlfriend. My parents and her parents were friends,
Was she hot?
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair to judge her. I haven't seen her in years, so
Yeah.
At the time, I thought she was attractive. Obviously, I wouldn't have like been with her if I didn't.
Right.
But yeah, I was waiting for her dad for like I think it was like an hour and a half outside because the school like closed, and I was just sitting there waiting, and I'm like, where is this guy? And it was freezing, man. Like I can't tell you how cold it was specifically, but I can tell you how cold I was because I was like and it like again the wind is just going straight. Like I tried to like find like a building to stand behind, and I did, but the wind's still coming at you, and you're just like, oh my god, like it's brutal because it comes down off the Gobi Desert,
Right.
and it's just flat lands, so. It just blows, gets faster and faster, and creates momentum. Occasionally, it'll even bring in a sandstorm, a dust storm.
Jeez.
And those are crazy because it turns the whole city orange. You gotta have a mask on when you're walking around outside.
Wow. Yeah. What was the best and the worst thing about living in China for you?
I think probably the best thing was the food.
Really?
Honestly, the food's amazing, dude. Like,
Yeah, you were telling me they eat intestines early.
oh, dude. I mean, so like, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
Like, that's just not a recipe that I would particularly like.
Okay.
But oh my god, like the vast majority of the food was, it's stuff that like you would never think of eating here, but it's absolutely delicious.
Interesting.
Like I developed a pretty fond liking to duck tongue. Like it comes out like on this like little wishbone, right? It's like the back of their like neck or whatever, and it has this. It's like a little tongue. You can see it. It's a tongue, and you kind of eat it like an artichoke. You like scoop it off, and there's a little bit of like a tiny little piece of cartilage in the center of what you take off, and you take it out. You take out the cartilage,
Right.
and then you eat the rest of it. And they usually have it like marinated for all sorts of time. It's delicious.
Uh-huh.
It really is. Like it's surprisingly delicious.
What were we talking about? Duck tongue.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger and I went duck hunting with my dad and my grandpa and my uncle and my cousin. And like duck itself did taste good. I will admit, like the shit tasted good,
Duck is delicious.
especially if you season it right.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, there's a place in Beijing. It's still there. It's called Dadong. Dadong. It's on like the third floor of like this super super nice like luxury mall. Has all these
Okay.
like international luxury stores like Gucci, Prada, all that kind of stuff.
Right. All fucking
Mhm.
crazy shit.
Yeah. So you go to the third floor. This is nice restaurant. And you walk in, and they have this like large center, like open circular oven. And it has like 4 different individual ovens. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you kind of. Like you pick your duck. They have like hundreds of ducks that are like just hanging in there. They've been like, some of them have been like marinating for hours. And like they're obviously they're already like defeathered and everything. But they still have like the head and the beak and
That's
other
awesome.
legs. I mean, it is what it is. You're gonna eat all of it, So they put a little hook through it. They got like hundreds of them. You go, I want that one. They'll take it down, and they'll start preparing it for you. Every table, like you go there. You're supposed to get the duck. That's like that's
Right.
what they're known
Can you
for.
imagine having to pick your fucking Donald Duck from like 300 ducks you got hanging
That's
up
what
there?
I'm saying, dude. No, it was amazing though. Like because they use every single part of the duck,
Mhm.
right? So you get.
And so they're not
everything.
wasting a bunch of stuff as well.
That's the thing, right? Because when, when your family's starving, and you don't have a chance to like you have to make everything you have last, right? You have livestock, and you have to make it last as long as you can.
That also goes back to like a lot of tradition too. Like
No, exactly, right?
and
So it's like the crazy thing is some of those recipes are like 500, 600, up
years
to like
old,
up to 2,000 years old, because China is like 2,000 years old,
and like
Oh no, it's more than that. God,
No,
more
it's
than that.
easy.
It's gotta be like 5,000 at
Sure,
this point.
sure.
I'm,
But,
I'm wrong.
But no, like the biggest thing with that is like very early traditions of most types. They thought that it was super wasteful to not eat, or at least utilize every part of the animal.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you're gonna kill it, and then what? You're gonna throw some of it away?
Sure.
Like in some of those cultures, it's like it's sacrilege. You're killing it. You're killing something. You're taking its life. Like that gets pretty deep. But it's interesting to think about. Like
Yeah,
the
like-
amount of meat that we eat. On a daily basis, without even thinking about it.
Right. Like, for me, for those of you that don't know, I'm vegan, and the reason I decided to go vegan was just because there's so much fucked up shit going on in the food processing industry, and maybe if sorry if I was too quiet, but like the biggest thing is maybe if the way that we process food, that we process our vegetables and crops and handle our animals, if there was more of a balanced system with that, and it wasn't as just fucking mass produced, slaughtering
Chickens on top of chickens.
chickens on
cages,
top of
yeah.
chickens, diseases spread constantly through animals, but then all the fucking antibiotics we have just get shoved up their asses. Like, if there was just a better, more truly sustainable
Do you know what
way to do
tilapia
it.
farms are?
No, I don't.
Tilapia is like a fish.
Oh, well, tilapia fish, okay.
Yeah, but do you know how they like feed them?
No.
Dude, they have like all sorts of chicken above them, and the chickens just shit into the like tilapia tank, and that's like what they feed the tilapia.
That's disgusting, bro. Fuck.
It's
like-
they're shit eaters.
If you really just take a second and think about that, how fucked up is that? Like, are we really at the level where we're just gonna feed an animal shit so that we can sustain it enough to pretend like it's good?
Yeah,
Man.
that's terrible.
Mhm.
It's awful. And I'm a huge proponent of like going a little more traditionally with food. Oh, sorry, it's our heater. It's very loud.
Dude, the heat is
Shout out
nuts
the
here.
heating in Boston. It's terrible, but it's like instead of just a monoculture of having just one type of plant, and you just use hundreds and hundreds of pesticides on it that are just terrible for the body and for
Exactly.
the environment. When you could do, I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now. I'm a little higher. But like,
No?
it's just this. I think it's monoculture is one, and then maybe I don't know, permaculture, polyculture, whatever. It's like you have so many different plants in one area. Like you have a bunch of trees, you have some shrubs, you have some really small herb plants. From the smallest to the biggest, and it's all living in one ecosystem.
Cool.
So that
A biome.
Yeah, like a biome. So you,
Yeah.
if one thing gets super focused
Like
on
in Minecraft.
Sure. Exactly. But like if one thing gets fucked, then everything else is fine, you know? Or you have one other plant to protect another plant.
So there's like in marine biology. I mean, like in any biology, any
Sure.
ecosystem, there's something called a keystone species, which is a species that is absolutely essential
For everything, yeah.
to the environment that it lives in, right? So like for example, under the sea in like the Santa Monica Bay, right? Or like not necessarily the Santa Monica, but like the whole bay on the side of California,
Yeah.
right? There are these little. Thank you, sir. There are these little.
Shout out Vitamin Water Zero.
Yeah, Vitamin Water Zero. There are these little what's it called? Sea urchins, right? And those things, they're like spiky and they're like cute or whatever, but they're.
Shout out Surf's Up 2007 with Shia LaBeouf.
And the second one.
Was there a second one?
No.
Okay, but anyways, continue.
Yeah, no. So we like the goal is to kill all the sea urchins, honestly, because sea urchins are an invasive species. What they do is they come in and they eat the roots of kelp plants, right?
Jesus.
And that's what they eat.
And they just fuck them.
Well, and so when you eat the roots of the kelp plants, right? The kelp plants drift away, and the kelp plants are home to like hundreds and hundreds of other species. Fish and there's a whole ecosystem in the kelp plants by themselves. So sea otters are the #1 keystone species in the bay, right? Because sea otters dive down and they kill and eat all of the sea urchins. Right, that's their #1 snack. They kill them all the time. They eat like 20, 30 of them a day or something like that. They eat like twice their body weight or something. It's crazy.
Like they're just fucking chilling the whole time too.
No, of course. No, they're having a great time. Sea otters are crazy. But without
And
them,
cute.
like if exactly, but like people used to hunt them because like their fur is the densest fur I think on the planet besides maybe polar bear fur. It has like
especially for how small it is.
No, exactly. I think like for 1 square inch of they have like 1 million hairs.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like their hairs are ridiculously dense. And you always see them like rubbing themselves. It's because they have oxygen bubbles that are stuck in their fur, and it's like itchy and uncomfortable for them because their fur is so dense.
They need to release all that.
Exactly, yeah. So they always have to be like rubbing themselves and like, like it's cute, like you see them rubbing themselves and whatever, but like they're not having a fun time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, they are like objectively very, very cute animals, especially the babies. Oh my god, some of the cutest animals on the planet. Like ridiculous, like sometimes honestly living this life, as a musician, like I forget that certain animals exist. Like I just do, because you don't think about it for months on end, and then somebody will say something and you're like, holy shit,
I forgot about the animal.
What is a giraffe, dude? What the fuck is that? Like it exists, it's on this planet.
It's this long ass neck thing.
It's on this planet, right? It has like a whole bunch of descent, like the okapi is like a relative to it and everything, or whatever. Well, it's crazy though. No, but like the whole thing, like the fact that like those exist on this planet, like obviously they're not interacting with us ever, unless we go to a zoo or we see them in the wild in Africa, but like that's a thing on this planet, I think about that every so often. I'll be like, holy shit, dude.
Think about this, whales, man. The blue whale is
I've seen
the
blue
largest
whales, dude, yeah.
the largest thing that exists on this planet
that we know of.
That we know of course, because we don't have a shit ton of the sea explored. We don't have like
95% of the sea is unexplored. We know more about outer space supposedly than we do about our ocean. Yeah.
But like, no man, like no one in the world, unless you've been to the ocean and you've seen one in person, but like realizes how big a blue whale is.
They're massive,
They're
dude.
Fucking
They
giant.
are ridiculously big.
Like it's literally like fucking whale Pokemon, Whale Lord from fucking Sapphire Ruby, all that shit.
Seriously, dude, they're the biggest animal on the planet that we know of. They're it was actually crazy. I saw blue whales and I rode on elephants in the same day in Sri Lanka.
Wow.
We went whale watching after we did elephants, and we saw the biggest land animal and the biggest sea animal on the same day. It was just kind of crazy. Very surreal.
Like, wow.
Wonderful.
Dude, at the Oregon Zoo, back home, we have like the cutest fucking elephants ever.
Yeah.
One died recently, which is very unfortunate. like that's the saddest shit to see on Facebook.
Rest in peace,
But
elephant.
like just the ones that they have there currently, I think they have like 3 now. The elephants are so cute. There's a baby one. Oh my gosh.
Elephants
the
are
best
awesome,
part of the
dude. No,
trip.
they're really great, and they're so intelligent. You
Yeah.
know, like elephants and dolphins, dude. Intelligent fucking animals. Like you got to think like in terms of evolution where we are currently, right? If they keep breeding and keep getting more and more intelligent, you know, in the wild, if we allow them to, Jesus Christ, I mean, humans are fucking horrible. You know, like we're killing off like half the animals on the planet for this and that. You know, like we're just talking about sea otters are a keystone species. The reason they were like going extinct in the first place is because people were hunting them for that super dense fur.
Yep.
Right? Because like, dude, if it keeps them warm, think about what it does for us, right?
If we kill like a bunch of them, yeah.
Oh, dude, no, it's amazing, right? No, it's really really nice thick fur, but it's absolutely horrible to cultivate it. You know, it's not, and it's obviously not sustainable, right? Because those things are keystone species.
And that's the thing too. Like, the first thing humans think about is not sustainability.
It never is.
Never ever. And once you get to the point where it's like, wow, I haven't seen a lot of this animal in a long time. Dude, I wonder what's happening.
So think about this, right? We have a shortage worldwide of water. My belief is that the next world war is going to be fought over water completely.
You
right?
think so?
I think so, because at some point people in the Middle East are going to run out of water, right? And then it's going to be like, oh, well, we can buy water from these guys, you know, for oil. But it's going to be an issue, you know. I'm telling you. You know, 50, 60 years down the line, there's going to be a huge war over water, you know. But the issue is that literally, if the world poured its resources in, like, you know, if we took like the like $7-8 trillion we're paying into like fucking, you know, war, you know, and we put that towards desalination plants, dude, those things, like, they're expensive as hell, but they turn seawater into drinkable water.
Really?
Yeah, like, we have the technology to do that. It's entirely possible, but it's expensive, so people don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, we need to invest more in just general resources for like
for humankind.
Yes,
dude.
because the thing is, like, right now we think that, oh, what are you talking about with using all these fossil fuels and, like, you know, saying kind of fuck the planet. Like, we're helping ourselves, but it's more of like a present moment thinking that we're helping ourselves more than we're actually fucking ourselves.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man. In a second, yeah. It's amazing what we've done to ourselves and the environment we've
put ourselves
inhabited in that so quickly.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of a wild ride.
Yeah, but to go on a happier note, one more topic before we wrap this podcast up. Just a quick one. I just wanted to ask, Brandon, you're a wonderful musician and a wonderful person.
Thank you.
What is your band's name?
Oh, my band is called Armstrong Can't Remember.
What music do you guys play?
We do sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like psychedelic rock with some folk influences, some jazz influences.
Yeah. King Gizzard and the Bob Dylan Lizard.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you know, like we're not quite as heavy as King Gizzard, honestly. Like, we're trying to stay away from as much distorted guitar as we can.
Sure.
You know, because we really want to let all the instruments speak for themselves. You know, if you guys are familiar with Wilco, that's like a band that we sort of sound like. You know, at this point we have like 3 guitar players.
Sure.
know,
okay.
And like,
are you guys on Spotify yet?
We will be shortly. We're definitely on YouTube and on
cool.
Instagram. So.
The name again?
Armstrong Can't Remember.
Armstrong Can't Remember.
Damn, that's a good name.
It is a good name. Yeah, it's better than our band name.
Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening.
Yeah, thank you all.
You might not be watching this in the evening, but
maybe we're watching it in the morning. In that case, good morning.
Yeah, but thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you again next week.
Yep. Right. Thanks again, Brandon, for having us on.
Of course, yeah. Anytime, man.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Peace.